Your boy about to get a huge tax return.
Sir, now that you've got your check, do you plan on quitting your job driving this truck?
Truck driver? I ain't no truck driver. I'm a janitor.
Janitor?
That's right, baby. I just bought this truck straight cash. I'm rich, bitch!
Nah, I'm actually getting no tax return this year. Honestly, I'm going to owe the IRS this year, which is going to be terrible. Y'all take a look at the playlist above. I'll link it above on the screen. Selling in the seller's market. I sold a rental property, and because of the sale of that rental property, your boy gonna have to pay some long-term capital gains tax, which typically is about 20%. So I'm looking at probably between 16 to 20 bands I'm gonna have to pay in taxes, but that's neither here nor there. I don't get a tax refund, but I'm gonna give y'all some tips on ways you can maximize your refund. That time of the year, tax season, tax return season. So we already know what that means. Let's keep it a buck. Everybody gonna be flooding their timeline with them living their best life on the vacation that they paid for with their tax refund. People gonna get new whips, people get new clothes, people doing all sorts of things. But in this video, we're gonna talk about some of the ways you could maximize or take advantage of your tax refund if you are fortunate enough to get one. I'm Marcus. You're at the channel of the Debt-Free Dad, where we're talking about finances and following my family's journey to financial freedom and to become first-generation millionaires. I am a licensed attorney, but what I am not is your attorney. So if you're looking for legal or financial advice, seek a professional in your area. Here, I'm just letting y'all know what's going on in the household of the Debt-Free Dad and giving y'all my opinion and take on financial topics. Y'all let me know, how was tax returns taken growing up? For me, tax return season was Christmas #2. It was like a second Christmas. I already knew. I literally have no clue what my mother did with that money. She could have did something positive with it. She could have just went out and bought it. But the one thing I knew, that when tax refund season was coming up, I was gonna be able to cop some new shoes and a couple of new fits for school. That was it. So I looked at it as Christmas too. Things first, there's always this big debate on should you get a tax refund. The tax refund is an interest-free loan to the government. Well, let's talk about it. Essentially, when you get a tax refund, that means that you've paid more in taxes than you actually should have. So the government, the only thing they're doing at the end of the year or when you get your tax refund is giving you your money back. So a lot of people take the position of, what is the point of giving the government an interest-free loan to do stuff and hold on to your money? Which is honestly probably the best point. If we're talking about basic math, that's probably the best point. It would probably be advantageous to most people to get the proper withholdings taken out on their paycheck so that they aren't getting a big $10,000 tax return. If you're getting a $10,000 tax return every year, think about it. If you're getting a $12,000 tax return, you're essentially losing out on $1,000 every month that you could use to pay off debt, that you could use to invest, that you can use to save for vacations or whatever else it is. So a lot of people take the position that you should have the proper withholding so you don't get a large tax return. Me, I think it depends on your situation. I do that now. My withholdings are set so I don't get a large tax return. But in the past, I made a big mistake. I talked about it before on this channel. I owe Uncle Sam, and I was so shook of owing those alphabet boys. I was like, you know what? I don't ever want to owe them again. So I would always put single zero, single zero. I was having the maximum amount of taxes that could possibly be taken out just because I was so shook of having to owe those guys, because those guys suck. I mean, literally, real talk. I owed them something like $4,000. I was making my payments, and then when the balance got down to like $1,000, right? The balance got down to $1,000. They sent me a notice, was like, "Oh, we're gonna garnish your wages." I was like, "Bruh, I wasn't even late on the payment." So ever since then, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure they got all of their money or a little bit more because I'm not messing with them. But now I'm a little bit more responsible, so I have the proper withholdings because I don't want them to hold on to my money at the end of the year. Plus, let's think about it. The government is probably the worst budgeter of finances that there is, and there's no guarantee that you would actually get your money back in a timely fashion, so I'm not going down that road. But that's the first thing to consider. Now, the first thing you could do with your taxes, if you are in this position, is get caught up on your essentials. If you're in a position where you have no emergency fund, you're having problem paying your rent, your mortgage, your lights, your gas, your water, your utilities, putting fuel in your car or food on your table. If you get a tax refund, your number one goal should be to catch up on the essentials, because those are the things that you need to make sure you can get to work, to make sure that you can survive, to make sure you got a roof over your head. If you can't keep your head above water, use your tax refund. That's what I would do. I would use my tax refund to get caught up on my essentials, so I'm not my head isn't underwater, so I could get a little bit of room to breathe for a while until I could figure things out. Next thing you could do is use your tax refund to pay off your high interest debt. If you have credit card debt where you're talking about 15, 19, 22% interest rate, and you can pay that off with your tax refund, it would probably be advantageous for you to pay that off, knock that out. If you have a car loan where you're paying anything over 6% on your car loan and you can pay off your car loan, it would be advantageous for you to knock those things out. Unsecured debt and debt related to vehicles is one of the number one things that impedes us from moving forward and making financial progress. I can remember one point when I had so many credit card debts and car notes and so much revolving debt just kind of going around. If I added up all of my minimum payments, it was something crazy like $1,200 a month I was making in minimum payments to everybody just to have something that was losing value, or to have something that I don't even know what it was. It was some stupid ass thing I purchased with a credit card that I don't even use no more, but I was still making that payment. So if you have unsecured debt or a high interest vehicle loan and you can satisfy, get rid of those obligations, and you got a tax refund, you definitely want to put that money towards that. The next thing you can do with your tax refund is bolster up your emergency fund. If you are in a position where you don't have any unsecured debt, your vehicle is paid off, but your emergency fund is using your credit card if an emergency comes up, you are completely wrong. I'm telling you, you're wrong. I mean, do what you want to do. If you don't like me telling you you're wrong because this applies to you, you could always watch something else. But if you have no debt, no credit card debt, no car debt, but you don't have an emergency fund, or if you have a vehicle but no credit card debt, you don't have an emergency fund, you should always have an emergency fund. Even if you do have credit card debt, even if you do have a car loan, you should always have an emergency fund. Now, we always know that Dave Ramsey talks about having a starter $1,000 emergency fund. That's something. If you don't have $1,000 set up as an emergency fund, and you should always have some small emergency fund, even if you do have credit card debt or car debt. But if you don't have $1,000 saved as a grown ass adult in an emergency fund, you shouldn't be watching Netflix. You shouldn't have Netflix. You shouldn't have Disney Plus. You shouldn't have Disney Minus. You shouldn't have a cell phone that has a recurring monthly cell phone bill. This is just my opinion. I think it makes absolutely no sense if you don't have $1,000 to your name to prevent emergencies from popping up. You really need to reevaluate some of your priorities. You shouldn't have Peacock to watch the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Carlton using drugs, because that sounds goofy anyway. But I'm just saying, one thing you can do is bolster up your emergency fund. Even if you do have recurring credit card debt, even if you have a car note, is always a plus. It's always advantageous to have a small emergency fund. You can use the Dave Ramsey $1,000 starter emergency fund. The method that I used was I kept putting $250 aside every month to build up my starter emergency fund until I had $1,000 for every person in my household. Do it however you want, but you have to have something there so if an emergency comes up, you don't get burned by using credit cards. So using that tax refund to build an emergency fund, bolster up your emergency fund, is definitely a good idea. Another option you can do is catch up or invest into your retirement accounts. If you have a Roth IRA and you want to max out that contribution, this would be a great time. This is a great opportunity to use your tax refund to bolster up your retirement account so you can go ahead and max those out, get that out of the way early. I think that's always a plus. I typically never max mines out in one lump sum. I just kind of do it monthly. But if you're getting a $10,000 tax refund and you can contribute $6,000 to your IRA, dump $6,000 in there, that's done. You don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. So that's always an option. Another option for your tax refund is to invest your tax refund. You can invest your tax refund in a non-retirement account. You can invest it in a brokerage account by using Webull, Acorn, some of the other brokerage accounts that gives you access to invest right at your fingertips. That's a good opportunity to take that money, make that money grow for you so you can actually have more money down the road. So investing in an account, in a brokerage account outside of your retirement account is always an option. Another option that a lot of people like to consider is use that for something that you're looking at as a short-term goal. So if you have a short-term goal of saving to purchase a car, perhaps saving for a vacation, saving to start a business, any type of sinking fund that's a short-term goal that you have, that's a great opportunity to help build that account up. If you want to get started on a business, but hey, it's going to cost you to get an LLC, it's going to cost you to get some equipment. Here's an opportunity to capitalize on that. I mean, hey, you can always use it to go on a vacation if you want. But I think this situation, these sinking funds that you're using your tax refund for, should be the ones that's going to give you long term growth down the road. So, hey, if it's something like, oh, we need a new vehicle because our vehicle is getting beat up, that's going to help out the family as a matter of course. If it's something like, oh, we need to get a repair done to the home, that's a good opportunity to bolster that account. Hey, I want to start a business, bolster that account so you're not using and pinching and scraping and saving to get the resources to actually start that business and get it up and running. Those are the prime opportunities. So there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of unique ways to do things and think outside of the box and get some long-term value out of your tax refund. One of the other things that a lot of people forget about is investing in yourself. And by investing in yourself, I mean, you can take that twofold. If you want to take a class to learn something, if you want to take that marketing class, if you're a finance content creator and you want to go to FinCon, hey, speaking of that, they got scholarships available for new YouTubers and people under certain economic situations. So check that out. But if you want to increase your skill set, if you want to gain more knowledge, learn a new skill, this is the opportunity to invest in yourself. I don't care if it's music lessons, I don't care if it's marketing lessons, I don't care if it's a real estate course, I don't care if you want to become a travel agent. Take this opportunity to invest in yourself, especially in those things that can allow you to create either another form of active income or the potential to have some passive income down the road by getting the business up and running off the ground. So definitely think about investing in yourself through education, through reading, through taking courses, online courses, and the entire thing. That's definitely a great idea that I don't think a lot of people take advantage of. Now, like I said, your boy gonna owe the IRS. But typically, and I actually got a video, if I find it, I'll throw the link above. But typically, what I do if I get a tax refund is I kind of spread the wealth. I'll invest a little bit of it. Some of it I'll probably use to fund maybe a family vacation account. Me, I'm a big proponent of once your head is above the water, once you don't have any uh, credit card debt and those type of things, once you're at a point where you can say, okay, I can pay all of my bills, I got my debt snowball and I'm paying a little extra on my debts, but I do got a little bit of excess where I can put a couple of dollars away to make memories and enjoy my family. You definitely have to do that sometimes. So me, when I got a tax return, I was always a proponent of kind of spreading the wealth. I'll invest a little bit. I'll put some in the kids' investment account. I'd maybe take some and put into a sinking fund for a vacation for the family. So I enjoyed kind of spreading it out, sharing the wealth. But whatever you do, make sure you do something that's going to put you in a better position than you were prior to getting the tax refund. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong. I mean, just personally, I'm not one of those people who say, "Oh, you should never have expensive clothes or expensive cars." I got some expensive stuff down in my I got some expensive stuff down in my closet right now. I got some shoes that I like to buy. I got dress shoes that I like to buy. When I do buy dress shoes and suits, I don't like buying no cheap suits or dress clothes. I just don't. So I buy stuff that I like. When I do purchase those things that I want, I'm gonna purchase it for the price that I think is appropriate. But I'm not just gonna buy it with credit. I'm gonna make sure I save. I'm gonna make sure I pay for it in cash so I can get what I want. So I don't take that look of you can never have anything nice. I had a conversation once, a buddy of mine, I know him and his wife real well, and me and him were talking, and we were talking about, concealed carry and firearms and everything. And this guy, he's a really good. He's one of the very few people I talk to in person about finance. Him and his wife are very smart with their money, and he was like, I don't even like or want to buy like nice things sometimes because people out here so crazy. They'll try to rob you or take it from you, or people will get jealous. And he and I had two separate schools of thought on that. My view is, what? I work hard and I'm gonna buy what the hell I want to buy. And if somebody is jealous of it or somebody want to try to take it from me, that's on them. Hey, try your luck. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You already know how I get down. So try your luck. It is what it is. I'm not going to let what someone else think or could possibly do influence the things that I may want to make me happy, or things that I want just because I want them. The ultimate goal, how this relates financially, is nothing wrong with getting things you want. It's just being tactful about how you get them, making sure you can pay for them in cash, making sure you aren't over leveraged to get them. If you want to get nice things, there's nothing wrong with that, so long as you purchase those things with a plan so that you're not using debt. You're thinking about it, you're budgeting, you're saving up to get the things you want. Everybody should be able to get the things that they want. It's a matter of not what we want, but how do we go about acquiring the things we want. So that's it for this video. Y'all out there balling with the tax return, make some smart moves with it. Make some moves with your tax return so that you're in a better position financially than you were before you got the tax return. What I hate to see is, and this is kind of the cycle, I hate to say it, but it's real talk. I'm going to close out with this. The cycle is December come around, people go into debt, getting all these gifts for the holidays and Christmas, and then they're waiting for a tax refund, and the tax refund come, and they don't even use it to pay off that debt, or they have to use it to pay off that debt. So they can never use that tax refund to put themselves in a better position financially, because they accrued a lot of debt in December, and in January, February, March, when they get that tax refund back, they trying to pay off that debt that they just got at the end of the year. Make some smart moves with your money. I know y'all can do it. I can believe in y'all. Check out the playlist on the screen. There's more stuff related to finances that you'll enjoy. Y'all take care. I love y'all. Be blessed. Peace.